Hello and welcome everyone, it is me, the Laval, also known as the Power to Duelist, back for you with another step along the way through the Master Duel ladder. Last week was prohibited. Impressive. What changed? Okay, for a moment I was very confused. What changed in the list that I didn't notice? But yeah. I just dismantled the Linkuribo, and now I guess Master Duel wanted me to play a different one. But yeah, we're still, on the same list. I still like this list a lot. Huge, thanks for the, initial feedback on the IRL profile. It's so cool to still see that, after not having updated that in so many months. But yeah, pretty standard ratios when it comes to the main deck. I think the monster lineup is fairly boring. Cutting down on some gas for some hand traps to help us going second. So that's pretty much it. But with that, let's, just as always, jump into some games. It will be interesting to see what we, face from here on out. Last week was, a bit of a mixed bag. We saw Sprite, we saw some silly stuff. Let's see what this week gives us. I think it's fair to say that the later it is in the month, usually I think people will gravitate towards less prevalent decks. Oh, this is one of those hands. Opening 2 Braver equips is always a lot of fun. I think we'll start with a gamer here, just to see where that gets us. No interruption here, and also no priority passing. That's rather interesting. Would have expected an Ash Blossom somewhere, but I think we are cleared for takeoff, as it seems. Just go through, the normal Gadget Gamer line here. This way I can do the one thing that, funnily enough, Gadget Hauler is actually good for. Pitch a Morphtronic out of the hand, preferably one of the level 1s, because if you summon a Telephone alongside it, you can of course just simply grab the Morphtronic back you just discarded for that. Though I think we'll go fire the south one here. Finding another Telephone, it is just that easy. I think we'll take that. There's very few things that can compete with Telephone in terms of just raw value here. So we are just going into Power Tool. I am thinking we actually fire the Telephone here. Go, say the line, Telephone for Telephone here. And then we actually make an early Crystal Wing so that we can, kind of chill a bit. Though before we do that, we of course will grab us our free repair unit that we get each time we make Power Tool Dragon, which is very nice. Yeah, okay. Priority swaps, because opponent needs to select those. And especially since, we do have 2 Telephones in rotation, we can easily just, pivot between the 2. That's why I am opting to make, Crystal Wing here, instead of making an Exile Stardust into Braver, because this way, I can just Telephone for Telephone if I need to go into Braver. Could also use the Crystal Wing for that in the end. I think we will go into a Linkuribo first, though. I think that's a good thing to do. We got a lot of Link stuff to worry about, so I'm thinking of, going for Phoenix again. Or a rather early Phoenix here again. Even if that might be a bit of a bummer. In case we, happen to need that Phoenix. But I think having the IP Masquerade Master in the extra deck could be huge when we're already, Link climbing this much. I think we'll fire Linkuribo here already. Probably will do the same later on anyways. This is a slight funny you can do with the Linkuribo, since Telephone technically can summon itself, since it doesn't, restrict you from, summoning itself. You can just, shuffle this and get an additional body out of this. You would, of course, just need the Linkuribo engraved, since you can activate Telephone anyways. you don't need a target engraved to activate Telephone, which is, you know, the fun part. Because why would this card have restrictions? Like, who thought of that? Yeah, I think it's, once again, Telephone. I think these lines are, like, so boring, but there's, like, a bit of, you know, leeway you have in terms of, you know, how you loop Telephone. Like, there's a way to loop Telephone, and there's, like, a slightly cooler way to loop Telephone. Oh, I think both are, like, a tad bit silly. We're going for, I think, another Telephone here. Yeah, we're going Telephone here again, and then we summon the cell phone. Gives us a free body just to, you know, have. And in a worst case, we can still just make Braver to, you know, protect the Appaloosa better. But let's see what the cell phone finds us. I think that's going to be, like, a huge deciding factor in, you know, what we actually end on. And there's a couple good reveals here, so I'm not too worried. Telephone is Telephone one of them? Oh boy, I think we are definitely making Braver now. That's, I think, a given. Since this way we can, you know, free up some space. Also, the animation! We didn't have a moment to talk about this outside of the community post. It is finally our time. We have gotten an animation for Braver. It is so sick to finally have one in the deck. Oh my god. I'm so happy still about this. Insanely cool. Just absolutely over the moon to see this, and the live extreme will prompt a scoop out of our first opponent. Was going to make an IP Masquerader with the spent Telephone that you can, you know, barely see over here and the cell phone. Basically then go Telephone for the cell phone engrave again, see what we find. If we find a Remoten, if we find a Boombox, and if we find a Scopen, we can just, you know, end up making a Naturia Beast there, because you can just make a Naturia Beast with the one leftover Telephone and the Boomboxen, or just go through an Earphone line there into Naturia Beast, which of course makes this board just that bit more formidable, while also turning on a great bit of extension if you find, like, Remoten specifically. So there's still, like, a lot of gas in that line, I think. But yeah, before I, you know, ramble on too long here, even if this is now supposed to be a bit more educational, I think we'll jump into the next game. Going second this time. Let's see how much damage we can do. That's a cool field. I'm still, like, rocking the base field. All engine going second. That's not necessarily good. 11 card extra, 60 card main. Mr. Zero. Oh, bingo machine go! We have a Blue Eyes player. Well then, good sir, show me what you've got. Blue Eyes, Rage with Eyes of Blue, and a Rage with Eyes of Blue. None of these are, like, particularly scary, especially Rage with Eyes of Blue is, like, very beatable. Since it just, like, gets rid of all resources, summons 3 Blue Eyes. And we are, you know, just sending it. We are just, you know, sending it. You know, three Blue Eyes pass is or the Spanish system face down even. That's crazy. What? Damn. You can't activate this card. Whoa, wait a moment. What are these? You cannot normally special turn. You activate this card. Okay. Yeah. 3 Blue Eyes. A most impressive end board, I will have to say. But it will fall before my silly morphing electronics. I will go ahead and normal summon this copy of Gadget Gamer here. We've been here last game. Go ahead, use that effect to, I think, grab a smartphone. So we have some guaranteed extension here. I'm now thinking if I want to get, like, additional copies of Telephone into rotation. But I am quite doubtful if I want to do that. Yes, of course, we want the Gadget Hauler. I think we are putting a cell phone into the grave already. Summoning that. I don't know if I want to necessarily machine dupe the one, because I think I can get more value out of like a machine dupe remote later in the combo. But I think against 3 Blue Eyes pass, it like hardly matters how, you know, deep we are willing to go. I think we're making PTD here before we fire the Southhorn. Just to deck thin a bit. Because, you know, we aren't in, you know, any rush to play around like in a Bureau that's maybe, you know, sitting in some hand, you know. We're just staring at, you know, Kyber's most prized possession. And will, you know, of course, just kill them. That's unfortunate, but I think we can work with that. We'll just repair unit here. I think we repair unit pitch a Southhorn here. Summon the telephone back. This way we can, you know, of course, more easily keep Southhorns in rotation. I think we'll free up a zone here. I think that's a smart thing to do, because we're about to... Yeah, it's gonna be crowded in here. So, you know, just getting that one zone free can, of course, always be huge, you know. Getting monsters out of the way before you actually run into some trouble is always a smart thing to do. A 5 is like a really good reveal here. Still, you know, kind of playing with fire here. Should have maybe pitched the remote for the repair unit earlier. I think we are just going South Stardust here. Probably going to make a Phoenix before I commit anything else, just to like really, you know, max out the Southbound triggers here. You know, we're of course doing a lot for like impressive payoffs here. Or rather impressive payoffs. Just making a Phoenix here with the Link Reborn, the Southbound. So we can telephone here for the Southbound we have in Grave. Although we still had one on Grave, so we, you know, didn't need to use the Phoenix there. But, you know, just something to keep in mind if you're, you know, not like me and play around the fact that you only have like no Southbounds in Grave when you already have one in Grave, because you're a silly goose like that. Go ahead. Could have made Braver here first. That's like a small mishap on my part. If I get punished for it, but, you know, never punished as always. I think we are going smart for Neon, ironically. We've got like Underworld Goddess access here, which is cute. Can make Braver first, then fire Smartphone. Oh, that animation, man, it's so clean. I freaking can't. So clean. When it's like one thing that Master Duel does like insanely well, and this is like something I think I've said initially when I talked about this game, it is just the presentation. Master Duel just looks awesome. Yeah, let's go for a Smartphone here. See what we can find. 6, that's a pretty good one. Converter's a crazy one though. That is an absolutely crazy one. Oh, we can do a funny. We'll go Converter here. We'll go Converter. Target this Saffron here. And summon a Telephone. We'll go Telephone here. Go ahead and grab the one Southbound we now have in Grave. Because not going for Telephone here, because I'm gonna need some space for what I'm about to do next. We are indeed going 1, 2, 3. Oh, we can't. Are the Blue Eyes like unaffected? Oh, what is this silly business? What is the text on Rage with Eyes of Blue? I need to scroll quite a bit for this. Rage with Eyes of Blue. What is your text? Up to 3 copies, can't normal or special except... I'm clicking Underworld Goddess, right? Haha, okay. What have I missed? Wait. Okay, I think then we are just making the access code talker here. I was just like, okay, yeah, let's do the funny and access code with a link to. Who am I? Who is this guy? Why was I not able to make an Underworld Goddess there? Underworld Goddess needs effect monsters, right? Ah, it needs effect monsters. Yeah, okay, cool. Blue Eyes plays around Underworld Goddess, I guess. Yeah, then we are getting rid of this Remoten. Bouncing a Blue Eyes White Dragon to hand. That is such a fun thing. I absolutely did not think about that Underworld Goddess needed, like, specifically effect monsters. That is a massive oversight. Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter, because we're just, you know, access codes, integrating our opponent into, you know, the next dimension. Especially since we can banish Unicorn, pop a Blue Eyes, and that is game. But yeah, that is quite funny that we can't make Underworld Goddess there. I was like, why White Woman no work? But yeah. The Blue Eyes White Dragon is a powerful engine of destruction that is virtually invincible. Very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. But I guess, you know, what is a goddess in the face of, you know, a Blue Eyes White Dragon, I guess. That is quite silly. I think we'll get another one in here. If I need to, like, maybe, you know, shave a bit from this one. We'll see. But I'm very, you know, very happy with how this episode is shaping up. Of course, you know, we're taking a lot of dubs today. Of course I'm happy with this. So yeah, you know, Jesus Christ. He can't keep getting away with it. Yeah, sometimes you just open Gadget Gamer 3 games in a row. No response out of our opponent once again. We will be grabbing a cell phone as we already have a telephone in hand. And then we are going to go ahead and use the effect of Gadget Gamer here, tributing itself to summon a telephone from the hand and a Gadget Hauler from the deck. Actually, like, don't really mind drawing the second Gamer here. Could have probably kept that cell phone in hand. For the repair unit, but I think with a 1-for-1 as well in hand, we are Bing chilling, as they say in China. Just making power tool here. Going to go ahead and grab that repair unit. Go for cell phone here. Let's see what this gets us. Ooh, Remoten is very crazy. I'm almost thinking, do I want to banish this telephone maybe? As weird as it sounds. I think I do. Yeah, I think we are doing that, yes. We're going Remoten here, banishing telephone. Looks weird, hate to do it. But this still works. Otherwise, at this point, I still would have had the cell phone in hand and could have just, you know, repair unit, pitched cell phone for the telephone, which would have been, I think, a bit cleaner. But this still works. This way we make earphone. We're not turning anything into a tuner here. And from here, we are going to fire repair unit. Pitching telephone in one of the greatest interactions in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, since, you know, you just need a Morphtronic engrave, and you can summon the one you just pitched. So we are going telephone here for, yeah, cell phone in this case. Very easy pick. I think we're firing the cell phone actually before we, like, go into any further plays. Oh, smartphone's a crazy one though, like, holy... Calm down. actually revealing everything here. Making a link Haribo to free up some space with the cell phone. Since we can just grab that cell phone back off of... I'm planning to make Excel Stardust here. If I get nibbed, I get nibbed. Famous last words. We'll just see. Go Excel Stardust here. Go for the Excel Stardust to summon back the Telephone Engrave. I'm thinking if we roll high enough on Telephone here, I'm thinking if I maybe grab Remoten back. Since we could get a good bit more value that way, and I think we are going to do that, because I can just banish the smartphone for free in a moment here. Should have made Braver first. Should have once again made Braver first. This is mainly, you know, just grabbing like maybe a discard for the 1/1. Ooh, Telephone's looking very nice as a discard. Although that would be the third one. I think in that case we just pick up a... Let's pick up Boomboxen. I think it really doesn't matter, and with one Telephone left in deck we still have like a great bit of follow-up potential off of like a Gadget Gamer, which is rather nice to have. I think we are just making, yeah, Never Punished here. Really doesn't matter with what I make this Braver, I guess. Since I can just like make Nat Beast with these two. Third time's the charm, baby. We're going to see that Braver animation again. For the Metal Silver Armor, for Raptinus, Supreme Magic Blade, or Super Magic Sword. I'm still on the, like, I think I've set this in another deck profile. I'm still on the frickin' OCG translation for this. I've used the smartphone, yes. Okay, then we can proceed in the direction of forward. Go ahead here. Make a Nat Beast. I'm highly considering like a Dawn Dragster would be sick here, so we're like a bit more isolated against certain board breakers. We're going banish Smartphone here for another Smartphone, and I think we go. I think we make Phoenix first, just so we get Remoten into the grave. I think I want to banish the Remoten here. And then see what I find off of Smartphone. Keeping the Earphone Engrave here, potentially for like... maybe a potential Telephone when I could be needing it. But I am not counting on it. I think we'll 1/1 here then. Yeah, kind of have to 1/1 here. Just go for the cell phone. I want to keep that Telephone in deck. I would, you know, prefer having like a bit of follow-up play. Going cell phone here. We're probably just making an Apollosa alongside this, right? Oh, we are also making an IP Mask right now, I guess, since Remoten's a crazy reveal here. But yeah, we're making Apollosa first. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Turning those into Apollosa. And from here we go Remoten. If we like find, we're going like Smartphone for, we're going, you know, Smartphone again. If we like find a converter here, which chances are rather high for that by now. I'm always talking about Dawn Dragster, but I forget this is like my MD list and not my IRL list. This plays Baron, so we can't like convert the Smartphone into a Boomboxen and make Dragster here, which is a bummer, I guess. 5 is a crazy reveal, Jesus Christ. Converter's nuts. So like anything crazy we can do off Converter? Not really. Not really. We've gone through pretty much all of our extra deck pieces. I think we could like Converter for a Saffron, and then we have like something to link off into Unicorn with potentially. Though we don't have, we potentially need to like, we might need to like high roll into a discard that way. Or we could just stack Remoten here, summon Saffron. Go Saffron, summon back Remoten. Or we don't need to do that at all. The plan was like to stack the Remoten then, because Smartphone doesn't necessarily give me a discard for the Unicorn. So, you know, you'd be stacking Remoten here, summoning the Remoten back off the South on your summon of the Converter. Turn, you know, use the Remoten, banish, I think, Boomboxen would lend itself very well here as a banish. Just grab the second Boomboxen to have a discard for the Unicorn on your opponent's turn. And then you just make like IP with Remoten, Smartphone. Really doesn't matter with what you make IP here, I think. You could keep the Southon around just because it's more value on its own if it really lives the turn. And it's also like something you contribute off for the Linkuriboh potentially to, you know, prevent your opponent from going to combat and punching over something. But that I think is, you know, the extent of that line. I think that's pretty much it there. We're making, you know, of course, a lot of disruption there, so our opponent decides to not prolong this any longer and just scoops. But yeah, what an episode! Holy, just 3, you know, very lucky games, I'd say. 2 times we win the coin toss into no interruptions, and 1 time we lose the coin toss, but our opponents decide to pass on 3 blue eyes, which I can't Underworld Goddess, which is a shame. I do like Underworld Goddessing things. But that, I think, wraps it up. You know, I think the deck, as mentioned, I really like this list. I'm playing something very similar IRL, as a lot of you are probably aware by now. And I like how it performs. You know, there's a bit of flexibility added in it, and it still just, you know, does the usual thing. You know, if you're going off, you usually end up really going off. But with that out of the way, just as always, I would like to hear your thoughts. It's been amazing, you know, to see the response under the last one, and because a couple of you have mentioned that this is a good change, so we'll be keeping it that way. But, you know, before I just as always ramble on too long, this guy just doesn't stop talking. What a silly goose he is. I will thank you guys very much for watching and see you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.